Angel Reese just got into the most explosive sideline drama of the season. On July 7th, fresh off pouring in another double-double, Reese stormed over during a tense timeout, slapped an assistant coach's clipboard clean out of his hands on live national TV, and earned an indefinite suspension. Today, we unpack exactly what led to this moment, how it reflects deeper issues in Chicago's locker room. On July 7th, Angel Reese showed exactly why she's the cornerstone of the Chicago Sky, yet also why the franchise teeters on her shoulders. She erupted for 22 points, knocking down mid-range jumpers and powering through contact in the paint, while hauling in 15 rebounds, many of them contested boards snatched away from Mystics bigs. Add 4 assists on precision passes that set up open threes, and you've got a performance that reads like an MVP blueprint. But here's the cruel irony. Despite Reese's near-flawless double-double, the Sky still fell 79-81. The final minute saw missed layups, a costly turnover, and a buzzer-beating putback from Washington that slipped through Chicago's desperate reach. In post-game silence, you could almost hear the collective sigh of a locker room that has seen too many almost nights this season. For a team clinging to a 5-13 record, Reese's brilliance felt less like a springboard and more like a reminder of how thin the margin is between heart-stopping heroics and another frustrating defeat. As the clock dipped under 60 seconds and the Sky trailed by 2, tension crackled through Wintrust Arena. Coach Tyler Marsh signaled for a timeout, the chance to draw up what could be a season-saving play. The bench emptied, players huddled in tight circles, and all eyes followed Marsh as he reached for his clipboard to diagram the inbound set. Instead, Angel Reese took center stage. She crossed the huddle's edge, eyes blazing, and with a swift, decisive motion, slapped the clipboard clean out of Marsh's hands.
Is walking over to the bench and she slaps the clipboard out of her coach's hand.
The board spun end over end, papers fluttering like confetti before clattering to the floor behind the bench. In that split second, the arena's hush broke into gasps, then a roar as the crowd processed what they had just seen.
Are you kidding me? That is one of the most disrespectful acts I've ever witnessed by a professional athlete towards their coach.
Cameras cut to Marsh's stunned expression and back to Reese, whose chest heaved with pent-up frustration. Without a word, she turned away, arms folded defiantly, as the broadcast replayed the clip in slow motion. Within seconds, the moment exploded online. Fans shared it with captions like, "She's done," while sports shows rushed highlight packages of a sideline drama none could ignore.
Tyler Marsh has no control over this basketball team. At this point, it's looking like his leadership is questioned as a head coach with some of the tactics and things that go down with Angel Reese and this damn basketball team.
What was meant to be a calm strategic pause had become the single most replayed clip of the night and a stark visual metaphor for a team on the brink of unraveling. Under WNBA bylaws, any on or off ball action classified as a flagrant 2-foul mandates automatic ejection, and that rule was enforced without exception. Angel Reese, the assistant coach whose clipboard was assaulted, and a bench player who intervened were all disqualified before the next play. By that evening, the Chicago Sky front office issued a statement announcing Reese's indefinite suspension for conduct detrimental to the team. Unlike a standard one-game ban, this open-ended measure carried no preset return date, underscoring the organization's resolve to address behavior rather than merely its immediate fallout. The team's release went out of its way to acknowledge Reese's right to vent frustration after a heartbreaking loss, yet made clear that any physical contact with staff, regardless of intent, crosses an inviolable line. Sky leadership emphasized that while passion fuels competition, respect for coaches, staff, and the game's integrity is non-negotiable. This hard stance left no room for ambiguity. Chicago would not tolerate sideline outbursts that undermine authority or endanger personnel, setting a precedent for player-staff conduct across the league. This clipboard incident was merely the latest flare-up in a season defined by Reese's on-camera meltdowns. Back in May, after a tight loss to the Las Vegas Aces, she stormed into the post-game press conference and lambasted the officiating as diabolical, snapping, "I don't give a damn if I get fined," a line that immediately trended across X and TikTok. Then in mid-June, during Indiana's Commissioner's Cup final, Reese exploded off ball into a hard charge on Caitlin Clark, drawn and quartered by the refs as a flagrant 2, earning her a 2-game suspension. That sequence, too, played out live on national TV. Even when she's collecting double-doubles, Reese's body language, deliberate eye rolls at timeout calls, Animated finger wagging after no calls and open bench confrontations with assistant coaches has become emblematic of a competitor whose fierce intensity repeatedly spills over into public displays that test the boundaries of professional conduct. Sky head coach Tyler Marsh now sits at a critical crossroads. He inherited a roster built around Angel Reese's unmatched interior presence. She's averaged her trademark double-double nearly each outing, hauling down contested boards and finishing through contact. Yet Marsh's hands-off response to Reese's sideline outbursts has sparked intense debate. When Reese outright slapped his clipboard from his grip, Marsh neither called a quick timeout to de-escalate nor substituted her out for a moment of composure, moves any veteran coach would deploy. Critics argue that this pattern of inaction undermines authority and sets a dangerous precedent. If a player knows they can flout professional decorum without immediate benching or internal discipline, what stops the next outburst from escalating even further? With Chicago reeling at 5-13, analysts question whether misleading X&O schemes are to blame, or if the franchise's core issue is a breakdown in locker room accountability. Former WNBA coach and TV commentator Kara Lawson weighed in on air. A coach's primary tool is the bench, sending a message that no one, even your superstar, is above team standards. Marsh's failure to wield that authority on live television shattered more than a clipboard. It shattered the team's structure. Inside the Sky's facility, whispers grow louder. Players reportedly wonder whether Marsh's reluctance stems from fear of Reese's backlash or a belief that her competitive fire simply can't be tempered. Either way, the result is the same. A locker room on edge where emotional outbursts overshadow strategic adjustments, and the true cost is measured not only in losses, but in a fractured culture. In professional sports, fire is celebrated when it ignites men, yet often condemned when it flashes from a woman. Consider LeBron James's sideline outburst in 2018. Fans called it competitive intensity, and pundits praised his heart. When Angel Reese slapped a clipboard, headlines blared disrespectful antics and locker room chaos. Meanwhile, the rough stuff in women's games goes largely unremarked. Caitlin Clark has absorbed more than 12 hard fouls this season, full-speed body checks, blatant elbows, and off-ball shoves, none dominating the sports cycle like Reese's single outburst. Media outlets replay those shoves sparingly, if at all, while looping the clipboard moment nonstop on highlights and talk shows. Social media debates have erupted over this disparity. On X, one user wrote, "If Kawhi Leonard decked his coach's clipboard, we'd call it playoff energy. Why is Angel Reese a villain?" Another pointed out that major networks ran back-to-back segments on Reese's conduct, but seldom dissect infractions against Clark or A'ja Wilson. This uneven spotlight suggests deeper bias. Female athletes often shoulder the weight of role model expectations that their male counterparts evade. When a star woman steps out of line, the reaction can be swift and punitive, eclipsing her athletic achievements. Reese's talent on the court, from her 12 points per game and 12 rebounds per game average to her conference MVP nod, has been overshadowed by this one moment of frustration. Angel Reese now stands at a crossroads that will define not only her reputation, but the Sky's entire season. On one hand, she can double down on her enforcer image, embracing the role of a no-holds-barred competitor who refuses to be cross-checked without retaliation. That path risks deepening the rift in the locker room, inviting further suspensions or fines, and reinforces the narrative that she's untamable, even if it fuels short-term headlines and social media buzz. On the other hand, Reese can channel that same intensity into a model of mature leadership. A first step would be a public acknowledgement of the clipboard incident, a sincere apology beneath the hard exterior, emphasizing her accountability to coaches, teammates, and fans. Behind closed doors, private meetings with assistant coaches and team staff could lay the groundwork for restored trust, demonstrating she values collaboration over confrontation. On court, a more controlled body language, substituting eye rolls for nods, heated gestures for decisive communication, would show she can rally her teammates without undermining authority. In huddles, she might take the lead vocally, using her megawatt presence to inspire rather than intimidate. Media interviews offer another stage. Reese could pivot from blaming external factors to recognizing her role in the team's culture, framing her fire as a catalyst for positive change. History offers cautionary tales. Consider past WNBA stars whose unchecked outbursts overshadowed Hall of Fame talent, or college legends whose transfer destiny was sealed by a single moment of indiscipline. But it also offers redemption stories. Players who emerge stronger after publicly owning mistakes, earning respect for their vulnerability and resilience. Angel Reese's suspension after the clipboard slap is more than locker room gossip. It highlights fragile team culture, coaching challenges, and persistent double standards in women's sports. Will the Chicago Sky and the WNBA use this moment to enforce clear behavioral standards, or will they continue to let talent overshadow accountability?